Hi, my name is Gerhard Schwantner, and welcome to Selling Power TV. Today, we have the great pleasure of meeting with Nick Kane. He is managing partner with the Janek Performance Group. Welcome, Nick.
Hello, Gerhard. How are you?
So one of the challenges that sales leaders are facing is with attracting, hiring, and retaining talent. What wisdom can you drop on us today?
Yeah, that continues to be a topic that I'm hearing from sales leaders and our sales professionals and those that are partnering with our clients. Training team consultants are hearing this relatively consistently, that they're having a difficult time finding good talent. And then once they have talent on board that's been on for a while, they're leaving. There's an exodus that's happening as well. It's just continuing to be a challenge that we're seeing in the marketplace.
So when it comes to talent acquisition, what do you think are the best practices out there? And how can Janek help clients achieve their goals?
The first thing that we share with our clients when they're thinking about how they can attract talent is to make sure that they are ultra clear on their offer and ultra clear on the benefits that they offer and the long-term opportunities within those organizations. I think organizations tend to not look at that as closely as they should. How they're portraying the company, how they're portraying the long-term strategy of the organization, just really doing a good job putting that all together in a package that can be presented to a prospective candidate, I think is number one, the first thing that an organization can do as a best practice.
And I think you're so right. I just talked with a salesperson who was hired by a Fortune 500 company, and they had an onboarding process together with about 400 salespeople, and they were all promised no cold calling. They were all promised a CRM system that they can work with, and with after 3 months, they had to do cold calls, and they still had no CRM system. And they had to work from Excel spreadsheets.
That's a good way to lose the talent you're bringing on, is to set the wrong expectations, right? Like I think clear expectations around the job role and being super clear and honest about what the expectations are, I think are critically important to make sure that you keep the talent you bring on.
So what you're saying is that you have to have the right onboarding and training and development and coaching program.
No question. Yeah, we're actually conducting a survey and some research with Selling Power now around this subject. And there's some preliminary key findings that we identified that are really interesting to that point. One is 80% of sales leaders mention that their onboarding program takes as long as 4 weeks, but they also say that it takes 11 months for a rep to be producing. So think about that disparity, right? How much time you're investing and energy and cost and everything else. Yeah, so there's definitely ways to tighten up the onboarding process and make reps productive faster.
What is the next step? You have hired the person, you've given them the training, and you send them in the field. What are the critical best practices that sales leaders need to think about to get them up to speed faster? One
is definitely to think about how you're training and coaching that individual, right, around the skills that they need to be able to be successful on calls. That's joining sales calls if possible. That's listening to recorded calls if possible. That's one of the nice things about this new sort of hybrid or virtual environment that we're in. Calls can be recorded more easily. You can go back and review and coach to those calls and identify coaching opportunities and gaps. So I think that's one thing that if you can find time as a sales leader to do that consistently, especially in that first 90 to 120 days that someone's onboarded, I think that's a key factor, is training and development. Get to know your people individually. There isn't a one-size-fits-all approach to what motivates individuals, to what keeps them, what they're interested in. It could be monetary, it could be growth, and make sure that you're managing them independently and not sort of blanket managing your team.
So would you have a conversation with a new salesperson about not just achieving business goals, but also personal goals?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's really good and important to get to know your people individually and personally. Someone with young kids might have certain aspirations that are different than someone that is a little later in their career, right? So I think it's just good to understand that as deeply as you can, and try to support them in achieving those goals as best as possible.
Absolutely. So once you have salespeople onboarded, trained, and in the field, you want to reduce the turnover. You want to keep the top performers much longer. What's the best practice for that?
A few things I would confirm there, I would share. One is make sure your compensation plan is appropriate and is competitive. Have a comp plan that is simple, that isn't overly engineered, that they can quickly understand the levers and make sure that they are not necessarily easy to obtain, but realistic, let's say. And I think a big linchpin in supporting retention of new employees is leadership and the management that you put in place. To me, that probably serves as the most important component. People love to work in an environment where they respect those that lead them, where they feel supported, right? So if you're not investing in development of your sales leaders and sales managers, I think that's a big gap that exists as well.
Well, how can people learn more about you and your services to attract and retain top performers?
We partner with clients in a variety of ways, building out full onboarding programs down to individual skill development around training curriculum. They can learn more by visiting our website at janik.com. We're also in the middle of this research. We're going to be publishing this research report in the next 60 to 90 days or so. So there'll be some great findings that come out. Look out for that on Selling Power and on janik.com.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Gerhard.